You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Canada Paralympian sitting volleyball player, Heidi Peters. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. For my listeners that don't know, what is sitting volleyball and how did you know that you wanted to play it?
Sitting volleyball is very similar to indoor volleyball. We sometimes call it standing volleyball, but people who play volleyball don't call it standing volleyball. So indoor, or I guess the difference between sitting is that we play sitting on the ground. We don't play in any wheelchairs or in any adaptive equipment. We just play sitting down. The court is smaller than indoor. So in indoor, like one team side of the court is 9 by 9 meters. So for us, it's 5 meters deep and 6 meters wide. The net is also just over a meter off the ground. So smaller situation. We're playing on the ground, still 6 people, 3 contacts, same concept. You can block serves. That's a very different concept than an indoor volleyball. And your butt or your like hip bone just has to be in contact with the ground while you play the ball. You can't like stand up and contact the ball. It's called sitting volleyball. So yeah. And how the second part was, how did I know I wanted to play it?
Hmm?
Um, I played volleyball junior high, high school, my whole school life. I played club volleyball also competitively, more competitively. And then I lost my left leg to bone cancer when I was 16 in high school, and I found sitting volleyball. And I originally had kind of given up and thought, I wouldn't play again based on my acquired disability. And yeah, I found the sport and just kind of fell in love with it. And now I get to play at a really high level again. So
What was it like when one of your teammates first introduced sitting volleyball to you?
the teammate that I still have, Joanne Wong, introduced me to the sport in 2012, like right at the beginning of 2012. I was in the first couple months of my treatment. I had just lost my leg. I was doing chemotherapy. I was at the Stollery Children's Hospital. And she had previously in her life had the same cancer. So she volunteered there, and she actually met my mom first. And then my mom said she was there with me. I played volleyball, lost my leg, etc. She like ran to my room basically to like come and meet me. And I was on so many drugs and just so sad and like not really having it then. But approximately like a year later, I kind of reached out again after I was done treatment and came out to a practice in Edmonton. I took one of my best friends that I played with in high school, and yeah, I wouldn't say maybe fell in love with it right away, but it was exciting to play volleyball again. Obviously, different playing sitting down, but the skills just kind of naturally transferred over, and the team was very much in a rebuilding stage then. So it's been exciting to build with the program into how good we are now. We're ranked third in the world, I believe, right now. So it's exciting. Originally, I kind of was not really into it, but it kind of captured my heart after like trying it 3 times.
What was it like coming into sitting volleyball and representing Team Canada?
Kind of overwhelming right away. There's really no grassroots or like development kind of stream into a lot of national sports at the para level. So it's like I found sitting volleyball, and then I was like, sport's cool, I want to play it. And then you just try out for the national team. So it immediately I felt like very underqualified to be like representing the Maple Leafs. I'm like, that was kind of an interesting feeling right away. I was 18 or 19 ish, like right when I joined. So I was just kind of like starting college, had again recently acquired a disability in really like formative years of my life. And I was like, cool, I get to play my favorite sport again and now have a community of women who also have disabilities and we're all playing the sport together. It was a very powerful environment to be around in those years. I wouldn't say I considered myself a high performance or elite athlete at that time. I just played because it was fun. It definitely every time was an honor to put on Volleyball Canada and put on the flag. I don't think I really understood the gravity of it or took it fully seriously for what it could be until a year later, until we qualified for Rio and etc. Until I became a Paralympian and started using that language more and having to, yeah, really like push the level that we played at and really pushed our culture. I think right away, yeah, I was still just a kid and it was a bit weird right away, but I definitely understand the weight of it, and I think it's a huge honor.
What was the transition like from you from going from being able to play volleyball standing to then going to playing sitting volleyball after your injury?
Yeah, it was hard. My amputation is my left leg below my knee. Um, it's quite close to my knee, so my residual limb is quite short. It makes playing indoor hard. It makes doing physical activity on my prosthetic more difficult. So I just knew I wasn't planning on playing university. I was planning on maybe playing a rec league in college or something, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to play indoor the same way as I had with two legs, and that just really devastated me, really broke my heart. So I just stopped thinking about volleyball. I was like, yeah, I played as long as I could. I'm never going to play again. I just gave it up, and that was just easier to cope with and to ever dream about it again. Um, so to be given the chance to play my favorite sport in a different way, again, like I said before, it was really weird to start, but immediately, or not quite immediately, soon after I started, um, I just, yeah, loved it. It was an environment that I was being like challenged and pushed, and that wasn't awesome right away, but it came after. The biggest difference is definitely the speed of the game. You're so much closer to the ground. It's such a more compact environment, so the game is a lot faster than an indoor, and you use your hands a lot more, like you instead of your forearm passing. So the contacts that you use are different, but you quickly get used to it when you do it enough. So yeah, there it is different, but it is very similar in theory.
What was the training like in preparation like to make the Team Canada national team?
Um, it's not very vigorous in the sense of that there's a lot of sitting volleyball athletes. I think maximum at a time have maybe had like 16 people like interested in our program. So we travel with about a roster of 12. So that's about as competitive as it gets in terms of like making the team or like being deemed a national team athlete. We are definitely trying to grow the sport. Sitting volleyball is very new in Canada. So I was a volleyball player before and they found me and I went out to a selection camp and had to sign all the documents and commit to going to training camps and commit to the schedule for sure. In that sense, it is a big commitment. But it wasn't like I was trying to make like 50 other athletes. So the ability to make the team, it was never really like unsure. And I had volleyball experience as well. So I was one of the more experienced, I guess, athletes on my team with volleyball experience, like prior to joining the team. Um, the more competitive part would be like making a Paralympic roster where we only take 12 and such. Now we can travel with 14 to a few tournaments, but 12 is generally what we travel with. So that's where it gets more competitive, which is exciting. Like it makes training camps more competitive, everything. It makes pushing each other, like us all better, makes the team better. So that's where the competition kind of comes in more, to make rosters for tournaments specifically for Paralympic Games. But I wouldn't say I always thrived in that environment, but I've been on this team through a lot, like all of my young adult years. So I've really grown a lot through being in hard and uncomfortable environments. So
How was that feeling like when you got announced to become a part of the Team Canada sitting volleyball?
Yeah, just kind of like definitely an honor, definitely surreal. It's funny. I mean, unless you have a congenital disability or something you've dealt with from being so young, like being a Paralympian is never something you dream of. As an able-bodied person, that's just not a reality. Um, and I never played sports at a high enough level to ever like dream of being an Olympian. Like that was never even like on zero on my radar. So to have the ability to be on the national team, it was like I said earlier, very surreal, and it felt like too big for me at that moment. But I feel like I just grew into that, and now it's a huge part of my identity. And I am a two-time Paralympian and high performance elite athlete, and that's yeah, it just gave me a lot of opportunity. I think life is really what you make it, and it's really easy to um let life circumstance like really get you down and having to overcome cancer and amputation was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and to come out of that and still pursue sport is a really difficult thing. So it's a huge honor to represent Canada, and it's yeah, sometimes I don't even have words for what it means.
What was that feeling like the first time you got to put on that Team Canada jersey and have the Maple Leaf flag on it?
Like a dream, but like not a dream that I maybe ever had before, like kind of like an alternate reality. Like this is really happening, I guess. um yeah, just I keep using the word honor. Like it really is an honor. And if there's even like one kid or one young girl after me with a disability who's like, I want to play competitive sport because she sees that I can do it, like that's worth it. And I know I didn't have a disability when I was really young, but I mean, for anybody with a disability at any age, like that's not a hindrance in the way that the mainstream narrative like thinks. Like you have a lot of ability because of your disability. Also, like there's a lot of opportunity that comes from that, and being different is actually cool. So yeah.
How was that feeling like the first time you got to sit on the volleyball court and represent Team Canada?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question, and the first time that I ever competed, I don't even know. I can't even think of my exact competition, but definitely nervous, definitely stressed, definitely anxious, definitely overwhelmed. Not my first time like ever playing volleyball, so not my first time ever being on a court, not my first time ever like playing the sport like in a match setting. So in that sense, comfortable, but the magnitude of the situation was definitely overwhelming, I would say, and like eye-opening. And it's really weird and cool to play against different countries too. That's never something that I experienced obviously in my youth playing volleyball, so that's a very different element to playing international sport. um just exciting really, and scary at the same time.
What was that feeling like getting to go to your first Paralympics in 2016 into Rio?
Sorry, can you just say the question again?
hmm What was it like getting to go to your first Paralympics in 2016?
um Amazing. I remember we played at the Parapan Games in Toronto in 2015, and that's where we qualified, and we beat Cuba in a bronze medal game, and that was wild, surreal. So to actually then a year later go to the Paralympic Games in Rio, like it was truly a dream I never knew that I had. And I think that Rio was definitely just like scratching even the bare minimum of like what my potential as a sitting volleyball athlete could be. Like it was so eye-opening go to a big games and be part of Team Canada as a whole. It's similar at a Pan Am Games. It's just on a much smaller scale, but to be at a Paralympic Games is the whole world. So to be part of also Team Canada and have all the other sports there, and we're all wearing the same gear, and it's very like we're all on Team Canada with respect to our individual sports, and it's yeah, it was very cool. I remember walking in through the tunnel too in the opening ceremonies, and like that stadium was a huge soccer stadium, 100,000 people. I don't even know if it like fit in that stadium, and like was walking around the circle, and like my mom's like texting me because they like flew in that day, and she's like, I can see you, and like we could see them from where we were sitting. Like it was just like friends were like, you're on TV, I see, like just so that was cool. And to play in those matches, we really were like underdogs, like weren't expected to like win anything. We got 7th out of 8th. Won our last game. That was great. It again barely. It was just such uh like a starting point to the program that we've built now. The team didn't qualify for the London 2012 Paralympics, and after that they did a lot of rebuilding, and that's kind of when I joined. So it qualifying for Rio, I think, was the foundation of like building a high performing, quite elite like team that we have now. So if I could just go back, like I had no idea even what my life would be like at that point, but it was just so great.
Of course, for you competing in the 2016 Rio Games, what was that like getting to have your family there to watch you compete?
Yeah, the best. I mean, my dad is definitely more athletic than my mom. He's played sports his whole life, hockey, baseball, volleyball. And like I think I knew how to throw a baseball like basically at the same time I learned how to walk. Like so just always kind of playing sports, like never wanted to play with Barbies, always like playing other things instead. So it's kind of like always been there. He's um yeah, just really supported me like in my sport journey. Both my parents have drive me to every game, always driving, always snacks, always just those parents that are so involved. And to have them there again, a dream you never have for your child is for them to be a Paralympian. If they grow up able-bodied, like that means acquiring a disability. That's, I would think, not a thing that people wish on their children. So for them to come and see that it was probably like a very full circle moment for them and for me as well. Now, not even maybe knowing that even then, but like reflecting on it, it was just wild. Lots of parents went. It was a whole big thing. They had a good time. Yeah, just being able to like look up at them in the crowd. I was used to that, like in my youth, like playing, being able to like look over and like see my dad, like that's like a thing. So for him to be there in that environment, in that setting, like we played our first game against Brazil. There were like, I don't know, like 10,000 people there. Like Brazilians are insane, rightly so. Like the atmosphere was wild. So yeah, I am really honored to go to those games. That was really special.
What was that feeling like getting to put on the Argonist symbols on your uniform and represent the Paralympics?
Sorry, do you mean the Agitos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think in Rio, well, for sure in Rio, they have like the big Agitos that you like stand in front of and like take pictures in front of, like they do the rings at the Olympics. And I think it's one of the things people like don't know the most about the Paralympics. They like don't know the symbol is different. So myself included, until I became a Paralympian, like figuring out what it meant. And it's actually really cool. Like the Latin word for movement, like encircling a point, and people from all over the world coming to a central place to be together, the colors being like all the flags of the world, etc. Like and just like understanding the origins of the word Paralympics, like being parallel, not being, people think para, they think paraplegic, like they just associate maybe para with like a disability related word, but it really just means parallel. It's like a different not a lesser than version of the Olympics, not secondary. It's just like beside.
What was
So
that?
yeah, sorry that yeah. So I think that's just a moment that like para athletes have that really like connects all of us like in the world. Like most like the CPC, the Paralympic community, everybody has like the Agitos on it. So it just like kind of connects the whole village and the whole experience. Like, yeah, it's really bonding in a whole Paralympic sense.
What was that process like preparing for your second Paralympics in 2020 after competing in 2016?
Hmm. Um, I think right away after qualifying for Rio, we're like, well, obviously we want to do this again. So the goal was to qualify for Tokyo, like right away. Um, we like because Rio was obviously in Brazil and Brazil is in our zone of the world, it was a bit of an easier qualification process with them being a host country. So qualifying for Tokyo, we knew it would be a little bit more difficult, and we lost to Brazil in a bronze medal game at the no at in a semifinal at the Lima Paralympic Games. Um, and that was really, really devastating. That was really hard. We played really bad. So like it was a really bad game. So um, that was really heartbreaking. Um, we had just like 5.5 months until our last chance qualifier for Tokyo. And we just rallied so hard in those 5 months. Like we buckled down, had training camps, went to the last chance, or we hosted the last chance qualifier in Halifax. And well, you had to win. We got gold. So we had to win to qualify for Tokyo. And that was really, really difficult. I think that was another huge shifting point. Having been like, was kind of classifying us as an underdog team, like really just showing up and seeing what happens, doing our best, never being like the favorite to win. And then to win gold in a tournament and qualify for Tokyo was really, really huge. And then obviously Tokyo got postponed by a year, but then to get fourth at the games, I mean, nobody likes to get fourth. It's the worst, like losing a bronze medal game, but to really just show up again. And yeah, it was hard to qualify for Tokyo, but we got to compete on home soil. So again, a lot of families came out to Halifax and supported us, and that was a really special environment also.
Looking back on your sitting volleyball career, how has it been like obviously going to two Paralympics?
It's wild. I think now in the face of qualifying for the Paris 2024 games and that being also a difficult road, like I just never take it for granted. Like the experiences that I had, lots of athletes never go to the Olympics or Paralympics and go to one and not another, or miss it by just like hundredths or tenths of second. Like it's just, I'm very just thankful for the times that I've got to go and really honored to have gone. And it just motivates me that much more to keep going. And like the better that we're getting, we're pushing like other teams as well. So the level of competition is also really increasing in sitting volleyball, which is really exciting to see. Obviously, it makes it harder to qualify, and it makes the games harder, but it's really elevating the sport as well. So it's exciting to see the growth. And every cycle, the qualification process looks a little different how teams qualify. So it's exciting, but I'm really honored to have gone to two games, and I really don't take that for granted at all.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments competing in Tokyo and Rio?
Competing in Rio, I would say like competing against Brazil was our first round robin game, and that we lost that game, but it was packed, like biggest crowd I've ever played against. Played in front of. That was a really overwhelming and special experience. I mean, when I'm playing, I don't really notice the crowd, but it was really cool to play in front of that many fans. Like Brazil is definitely a volleyball country, so that was really cool. Also playing in a round robin game against Ukraine in Rio, I think we pushed them and almost won a set against them, and that was really big for where we were at then. And that just kind of showed like our potential like in our so that game kind of stands out in Tokyo. Personally, they're all the games are really interesting. Like our first round robin against Brazil, we lost in 5. And that game specifically stands out as one of the games that like we played our best, put everything out on the line and lost. And you can truly say like we gave it our all in that moment. And we knew that we would come back like with a vengeance. They did beat us in the bronze medal game, but we after that game we're not afraid of, like, of our next 2 games. Like Paralympics are cutthroat. Like you get 2 pools of 4, you have to make like top 2 to cross over. So we're like we have to win our next 2 games, and after that we believed that we could. So that was it. That was a special game. And then our second round robin was against Italy, and we won that game in 4 sets. I scored 34 points that game, which is pretty insane for volleyball. So I think I did an interview after the game and someone said that to me, like, how does it feel? Blah, blah, blah. You scored 34 points. And I was like, I don't even believe you. Like, what? It's just like kind of wild. I kind of just popped off. So that was really special for me. And it's my goal kind of to play at like 8 out of 10 all the time. Like that's just like a good threshold. Like not everybody's playing at their like 10 out of 10 every game. And that game was like my 11 out of 10. So it is just like a special moment for me. That kind of put like my name on the map. I got best server at the Tokyo Paralympics. And that just really motivated my performance like after the games. I mean, obviously getting 4th stands out. It's not a good memory. It was really hard. I was devastated for months. But again, just used it as fuel for the future. And I don't know if you have any questions about the World Championships, but we just in November 2022 just had our World Championships, which happened 2 years after like Paralympics, the 2 years Worlds and then 2 years Paralympics, and we got silver, which was really huge. So for us, to medal on the world stage, and I got MVP at that tournament, and that was again just like a special moment for me, and like just nice to have like growth like recognized throughout. And I'm just so proud of us for getting silver. Again, gold would be better. Like it's better getting a medal that you win. But yeah.
What is that like? Obviously, getting to compete against the Team USA team and have that rivalry game.
Yeah. I mean, they are the current 2-time Paralympic gold medalists. I mean, you got to play the best to be the best. If I want to win a gold medal, like that's pretty much like who we have to beat. So I just came back from exhibition matches against them in Boston this past weekend. And every time we play them, we learn. Every time we play them, we get better. Every time we play them, we close the gap. And yeah, it's just exciting to see the growth, having to see the best team in the world like make adjustments, playing you, like having us play well and having them change. It's like they have to respect us more and respect our growth, and that's exciting. It's yeah, you got to play the best to be the best. They're also just as a North American team, like they played similar to us, like structured in their systems. It's different playing some European teams. It's different playing Brazil. Just the literal just style of the game that they play. So it's familiar also to play the US. They just are just literally better statistically. They just make less errors, etc. So it's exciting to play against a team like that because it really just like shows us where we're at and like pushes our boundaries. So yeah, the rivalry is real.
How does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name?
Yeah, it's really cool that I mean, I guess the Paralympic committee like owns the word Paralympics. So now like we can use it as PLY like on our signatures. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, nobody really knows what it means. So like, what does that mean at the end of your name? So like in my email signature, I like have, right, like Paralympian, etc. I think it's just another like level of recognition and like, yeah, I like having it there. I think it's distinguished or like dignified. Yeah, it's just like, it's nice to be to be recognized as a Paralympian specifically.
How does it feel to get to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos and getting to write PL?
I wouldn't say, I don't think I've ever signed an autograph and like written PLY after it. That's a really interesting point. I'm gonna do that next time I sign something. But I mean, signing things is always like really, really weird. Like usually if we go to schools and do events, um, kids always want like our autographs. And I'm like, oh, who me? It's it really just like never gets old and is always weird. um, but it's cool just from like a representative like lens, just to represent disability at a high competitive level. I don't think I'll ever take that for granted. So
What was that feeling like getting to put on both of your two Paralympic rings and getting to see all of your hard work
yeah,
pay off?
um, it's really cool. It's one of the things that people notice most often. They're like, "What is that ring?" Like it's quite big. Like people are like, "What is that? Like what ring is that?" And it has the CPC logo on it. It has the leaf. It has the Agitos, or Gitos, whatever you say it, on it. And it's just like a reminder every day of what I do and why I do it. Being a Paralympian means something different to everybody, and I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I want a gold medal, like period. Like I want to win. I'm a competitor, but what my Paralympic and para-athlete journey has been is just so much more like personal development and growth and seeing potential in myself and potential in my despite my disability, etc. So it yeah, it just kind of like grounds me in like what my goals are and what's like important to me, and also is a good talking piece.
What does it mean to be a Canada sitting volleyball player?
It's wow, it really just means everything, and that's so cheesy to say, but true. Like I've said before, it's a dream I never knew that I had or knew I could have. And if I would talk to teenage myself, I would that she would never, never believe that this is like where I ended up. But it yeah, it's hard to put it into words. It just means like a lot of like growth, I think, and like potential and opportunity. Like I said before, life is really what you make it. And I never knew what I was capable of or how big I could even dream. And having strong coaches and strong leaders in front of me and strong role models, like just showing me like that I could do it despite any disbelief I had in myself or in my body. Like, yeah, it's really cool. It really changed my life being part of this team, and also being part of it in such like a formative time. The first time it's become a Paralympic program, and we just kind of have gotten to shape the culture, what we want. So it also kind of feels like home. It's like a family also. So yeah,
Who are some of the players that you look up to in the sport of sitting volleyball?
it's a great question. I There are a few international players that come to mind. I really always like talking to Elvira from the Netherlands. She played in when I went to Rio, like around those years. She retired in 2018 World Championships, I believe. And she just sat on some boards as well at some higher like IPC, International Paralympic Committee levels. And I now am on a World Para Volley Athlete Commission board as well. So I'd really just admired her like involvement in the sport and like pushing it forwards, not just like as an athlete, but taking her like the responsibility seriously to also advocate for the sport and for parasport and disability at higher levels. Like just because I'm also interested in that, I really admired that of her. I also admired her as a competitor and a person. Also, we traded clothes at my first Paralympic Games. Like that's that was nice. I would say that I also just like yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, I can't really pick. Like I really admire my teammates and athletes that have been in it for a long time. Um, I would say definitely still Joanne Wong. Like she obviously she's been there since the program started. Like and is still around. So to commit to something for that long and chase the dream of being a Paralympian and being a Paralympic medalist and not give up on that, I really admire that through marriage, through having children, through schooling, through all the things, like just persevering through that dedication to sport, I think is really admirable. Um, yeah, I would say sitting as far as athletes go, that's where it's at.
Was it like obviously getting to play with some of your teammates like Peyton Vera, Julie, Danielle, and even Caitlin?
Well, that's a lot of names. Peyton, Julie, Peyton, what a cutie. um, she's just literally not afraid of the ball, and I just admire the heck out of that because defense is not my strongest skill, and she's like will like let's just get hit in the face like all the time. Like and that's just we're not built the same. So I really admire that about her. I really like playing beside her. Um, she's just improved so much and has kind of been thrown into some random roles as she's like finding her place kind of on the team. And what like roles her skills are taking her into. So yeah, it's been exciting to play beside her and just watch her grow. She just has so much untapped potential. I'm really excited for that. Julie, same. She was really young when she joined the program, and then took a little break and came back. And I mean, we were all young when we joined, but she was young. I think she was 15, and then came back after a little break. I've just been like she's been on the team through again her like her university years, and like the last couple of years she's just like stepped up so much, and it's just like trying to be and is being a leader on court, and her skills are just getting so good. She can literally hit the ball so hard. Like I don't even know where the power comes from. It's just like inside. Like I don't even know how she does it. Like she can just crush volleyball, and she's just so fun and great to be around. And like yeah, like I said, she's just really improving on her leadership skills, and just yeah, I just feel like everybody has such like untapped potential. Like we're getting so much better, but there's just so much farther we can take the game. That's just really, really exciting. With Danielle, it's been an honor to getting to know her. She is very intense, and I love that. I didn't love that right away. We have really different personalities, and we didn't really click right when we met. Um, yeah, I'm pretty like chill, like feelings, and she's pretty like she's our captain. She's a pretty like type A, pretty like organized. And like we were younger, I met her just like 7 or 8 years ago. I was a very different person when I was 22 than what I am now. So yeah, we just like didn't match right away, and that's really funny. And now I would consider her a close friend. Like we message a lot, we watch volleyball all the time, we're like texting and watching beach, watching indoor, always talking and I about life and everything. And I really value her perspective and her friendship and her leadership. And she's really just made me a lot more comfortable, like in my own leadership, like being direct and being blunt and saying what I think and being confident in who I am. So I really admire that about her. Jennifer Oakes, man, what a cutie. Hopefully it's fine that I'm going through literally all of them. Just like love talking about my teammates. Jen, she is just such a competitor. Like she played at a high level. She played club at a high level, lost her leg. She played at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan after her amputation as a libero. So she really understands high level sport. And I wasn't ever in that elite of a world in indoor and in able-bodied sport. And so she just is, yeah, she's our setter. She just runs the show basically. She's just such a competitor, and I really value her perspective and just seeing her also develop as a leader and her just like drive to be better all the time and just want to support each other and like support her teammates. Like as a setter, you're set literally running it all, and she wants to compete and win all the time, and I really like that. And she's also just light and fun. Like she just has such good energy to be around. She's just so calm and so relaxed on court. I need that in my life. And Annie's been on the team almost, I think, exactly as long as me. She's from Ontario. She's pretty like quiet. Like I'm pretty like outgoing, so we don't super jive. Like you don't have to be best friends with all of your teammates, but she's just so steady and constant and has also not really wavered in her commitment to the team, which I really admire. And she's like in law school now and is an engineer and is still like playing. Like, how are you even doing that? So yeah, I think it's just a familiarity. Like, yeah, being around her, she's just been around, I think, almost exactly the same amount of time. Um, as me, she didn't come to Rio though, so we don't have that like experience together. But she's been around the program about the same length as me. And Caitlin is like literally one of my best friends, one of my ride or dies, like on court, off court. She just, yeah, we have matching tattoos. Like her and my teammate Angelina, the three of us are very close. Caitlin is, yeah, just like having such a close friendship also off court, like just someone I can look to on court, knows my energy, knows what to say to me. We practice together in Edmonton, so we're pretty like cutthroat with each other and can just like call each other out on our shit. And you really like need that kind of foundation with your teammates. So I really just admire her, and there's just like a different level, I think, of like vulnerability, like having one of your best friends like on the team. And she really also celebrates like her points hard. Like, and I'm very like, I love celebrating on court. So her and I really like vibe off that. So yeah, I could literally talk about all my teammates if you ask me, but yeah.
Who are some influential people in your career that have shaped you into the sitting
Mhm.
volleyball player that you are today?
Um, I would say like obviously my junior high coach, Frank Raymond. When I lost my leg, he introduced me to Austin Heshi, who plays on our men's sitting volleyball team. And Austin was playing for Nate then, like with his disability, he played university as well. And he had the same amputation as me. So like my coach, he like immediately got that connection, set it up. Um, he was like not ready for me to like lose my dream of playing volleyball. So he um kind of kept that like spark in me, like never like fully let it die, even though I was like grieving and letting volleyball go. He kind of like kept that. So I really have always appreciated that and his like belief in me and like my potential in sport from a young age. In sitting volleyball, my current head coach Nicole Ban has been a huge influence on me. We for a long time, she's been our head coach since 2015, and pretty much since then have had an all-female bench staff, which has been a really huge thing. We're the only international sitting volleyball team that does have an all-female bench staff. So one of my old assistant coaches, Christine Biggs, current assistant coach, Kate Rosendahl, current assistant coach, Chelsea Hobbs, our physio, Young Wong, old physios, Anne Fleming, like Lauren can't think of her last name, but all of them have had such an impact on me. And just like I really had a lot of like doubt and self-confidence like in myself when I was young, and like a lot of body issues, and I never really saw potential for myself competitively in sport, even though I love sport. Like I really was very insecure and never could even see myself at that like high of a level. And there's a lot of personal like feeling attached to that and being uncomfortable in my body. So even starting sitting volleyball, I'm like, this is physically like really hard. Like, I'm really uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. Like, this is so difficult. Like, and some people run towards things that are some people run away. And it was because it was hard. I wanted to just peace out. And but because I was so like just uncomfortable with myself and didn't really think that I was capable of it or like even worthy of it. And specific all of them, but like specifically when Nicole became our coach, she was very like, we can be one of the best volleyball teams in the world. Like you can do all these things, and like just remove like the personal. I shouldn't say remove the personal from it. Like really developed a relationship with all of us, and really like showed that she cared, and does care. But when it like came to sport, it's like not personal, like took the emotion out of it and was like, if you work hard, like you can do this because like you're capable of it. And it just like really through years of having all those influences and those voices, like I welcome the challenge now. And like growth mindset is like you have to go down before you go up. Like things are gonna get hard before you get better at them. And I would never have been that person ever in my early 20s and my teenage years. And it's remarkable how much like people's influence can change your life. So I'm eternally grateful to them, specifically to Nicole. She just has such an incredible outlook on life and has just herself never, I don't think, saw herself coaching parasport. So it was a very different career shift for her to jump into that. And she just kind of literally jumped right into it. And as a person who's able-bodied, like literally got down on our level. How do we want to be talked to? How do you want to be addressed? How can I talk about your disability? Let's figure out how you move. Like, let's figure out how this sport, how do we do the best with like the limbs that we have, etc. Like just really, and it's so competitive. And just so kind and caring, and all those things just really, really jive together really well. So yeah, her perspective really, really shaped me into the athlete, the person, leader that I am today.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of sitting volleyball?
I mean, my biggest future plan is to qualify for the Paris Paralympic Games currently. After that, my goal is to win a gold medal in Paris. So that's what's currently on my radar. Lots of people will just say any medal would be nice. I'm like, it's pretty much gold, like gold. Shooting for gold. That's the goal. And I think definitely sticking with the program at least 2, if not 3 more cycles. Like with Parasport, you can stay for quite a bit longer, I think, than you can play able-bodied. It's just different. So I don't see myself retiring in the next cycle by any means. So
What is that feeling going to feel like, obviously, to get to compete in Paris and get to experience that Paralympics in Paris?
it'll be cool because it, like, fingers crossed, another COVID doesn't happen. So obviously there were no fans in Tokyo, and it definitely affected the environment. So it'll be exciting to be like crowded again and being able to like interact with other countries in the village, being able to compete against fans there. That'll be a big one again to feel the kind of the magnitude of the event. And I think that the games themselves will be done quite well. I think the city will do them quite cool, like integrate them into the city quite a bit. So yeah, it'll be a good games, I think.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to play sitting volleyball in college?
Oh, I don't know if I'm warranted to give that advice. My advice would be just like ask for lots of feedback and be really open to criticism. Like it's really not personal. That's a lesson I had to learn. And I mean, I'm younger, high performance, like elite athletes, like learn that. Like it's not personal. It's just about performance. But just always be just figuring out how you can get better and how you can improve and like be okay with that. Like, yeah, I think just utilize your coaching staff and ask for feedback, ask for criticism.
What advice would you give those players that are looking to represent a national team and one day make it to the Olympics or Paralympics for Team Canada or US?
It's a big question. What would my advice be? I think we do this on our team when we're together every morning. We practice gratitude before our morning practices when we're together, and just like saying what we're grateful for. And I think it really just kind of keeps you in the moment, keeps you present. And like I said, I don't take for granted at all any experiences that I've had, and just being present and being grateful for what you have is a huge piece of that. And my advice would be yeah, just it can be so overwhelming, like for that to be your goal, to be a Paralympian, to be your goal, be an Olympian. I think goal setting is like a huge thing, and all athletes do it with mental performance coaches, but really get good at goal setting and break it down. Like if you're like, oh, I want to qualify in 3 years, just work backwards and break it out. Like for these 3 months, like just really set manageable goals, and eventually you'll be in a position to hopefully achieve your final goal. Like I think getting really good at goal setting is huge. Dreams are nothing without actual tangible like work behind that. So definitely goal setting.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to compete for the first time or multiple times at the Paralympics?
It's the same thing. Gratitude and goal setting. That's same as the previous answer.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Heidi Peters 2 underscores, I believe, after my name. And same, I'm hoping to be a little bit more on it. TikTok, I think it's just my name too, Heidi Peters, I think 1 underscore. Let me check. I don't know my TikTok handle off the top. Yeah, same, Heidi Peters, just underscore after that. Those are my main platforms.
Thank you again, Heidi Peters, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a Team Canada Paralympian sitting volleyball player.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Heidi Peters, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Much appreciated.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.